I am Sarah Jaden Steen, and it's my honor to serve as president of Plymouth State University. When you're finding yourself, the world can be especially cruel. People concerned about being insiders are quick to make others outsiders, using skin color, weight, ethnic background, or sexual orientation. Later, you will discover that many, many people judge by a different standard. They look to your quality of heart and mind.
Hi. My name is Liz All, and I'm chair of the English department at Plymouth State University. I'm a fat, queer woman poet, and although we don't know each other, I'm thinking of you today. You who are watching this and wondering whether things are going to get better.
And I'm here to tell you that it does get better.
It gets better.
Because I want to tell you that it gets better. And it wasn't even that bad for me, and it still got better.
I grew up in New Hampshire in a small town where my family had been for generations. And so because of that, I felt very much under scrutiny. I felt like everybody knew me, and I felt an incredible pressure to fit in. And yet, from a very young age, I felt like I was different than everybody around me.
When I was growing up, there was nobody to talk to. Nobody that I knew that felt like I'd felt. That was a really long time ago.
Throughout middle school and much of high school, I knew I was a freak, fundamentally incompatible with the grand normalcy of the world. I felt a general sense of doom, like there would always be this thick blanket or something between me and everybody else.
I grew up with a lot of stereotypes, and I felt as if I was alone, confused, conflicted. With very few role models, I struggled with those feelings for quite some time.
When I was 6 years old, I wrote my first love note to a girl on my bus. She was in, I don't remember, 4th or 5th grade, so older woman. And when she got on the bus, I handed her this love note. I don't remember the contents. I would love to have it now to see what I said. It's probably like, check here if you love me, check here if you don't love me. So I gave her this note, and she went to the back of the bus where the big kids sat and read it aloud to her friends, and they all laughed and teased me, and it was pretty humiliating.
My mother sat me down. I was going into high school the next year, and she thought I should know that there are people in the world who she called homosexuals. That's how she pronounced the word. I don't believe she'd ever heard anyone say it at that point. And she wanted me to know there were people like that in the world so that I could stay as far away from them as possible.
The big high school in the city that I grew up in went from a small middle school to a high school of 2,000 students. And it was at that point where all of the schools came together, and so there were kids from multiple schools, and that's when my life turned to hell.
So that's where I started encountering bullying. And the typical bullying was name calling, harassing.
I was chased home, I was beaten up on the bus, I was cornered in bathrooms, I was punched at, I was kicked at.
My family didn't react well initially, my mother in particular, so I didn't visit my family for about 3 years, and my mother didn't speak to me on the phone for those 3 years either.
It got to a point where I thought the best thing for me to do was just to give up and throw it all in.
And I attempted suicide once, all without really knowing what my internal conflict was about.
If you're viewing your life from high school or junior high school, that might be the bottom, the low point. That from my experience, that was the low point. That life got progressively more interesting, more fulfilling, in overall terms, better.
Things started getting better for me when I came to realize that everyone's a freak in one way or another. I realized not only is the world full of freaks, but also that most of us are afraid that no one will ever really understand us or truly love us.
What I realized when I left college is that I had been playing a lot of parts in high school, pretending to like the Grateful Dead and a lot of boys. And I'd been playing a lot of parts in college, riding around on my BMX bike with my girlfriends. And none of them really felt authentically me. And the cool thing was, at a certain point, without really meaning to do anything, I just grew up and decided whatever I was going to be okay. And I started making jokes about myself and being compassionate toward myself and enjoying myself.
I remember being able to really intellectualize it and say to myself, okay, I know this is really crappy, but if I can just get through today, I know it will be better. I've been better before. I've felt better in prior days. I know if I can get through today, it'll get better. I know if I can get through this week, it will get better. And of course I was right, but I never imagined how much better it could get.
As you get older, you will make money, you'll have a job, you'll have a career, you'll have work that's good. You know, that's really so key, that you'll have work that's good for you. You'll have a world of your own work. And love, isn't that really the basic thing, love and work?
I am now the director of a center called the Sage Center at Plymouth State University that works with queer youth.
I'm the advisor of the gay lesbian support group on campus here.
I discovered that I did have a talent of working with children, and so I became a teacher. And 30 years later, I'm now teaching in the university. I'm chair of the education department.
Through our lives, we mature, and the folks in our environment, for the most part, mature as well, and I think that's part of why things do get better.
And June 3rd, 2009, still will forever be a day of history, of great history in New Hampshire, and a celebration. Governor Lynch signed our full marriage equality bill into law, and I was in the office when he did this, and it was just unbelievably exciting.
My partner and I are legally married in New Hampshire. We have a lovely house in the woods here in Plymouth.
I have the support of my family now, which wasn't always easy, but you got to hang in there. And I've seen our nieces and nephews grow up, which has been incredible. I have the support of a partner and my best friend and spouse. Yes, we finally are able to legally get married last year. So a lot of good things have happened in my life, and because I hung in there.
I've had great relationships. I have a huge group of friends. I have been able to travel all over the world. I love my job, and life is really good.
If I could tell you anything about how it gets better, it's just to wait. Just relax. Let things come to you. Let the stress go. Give it to somebody else who deserves to have it. You don't deserve it. It's not yours to have. It's not yours to take.
You never know who might come along and how they might save you. And, this is important, you never know who you might save.
You know, you can make a difference. You do make a difference in people's lives, that people do value you for who you are, and that even though some people don't, the fact is that there will always be someone who will love you, who will take care of you, who will support you, and the thing is to reach out to those people because they will be there.
I wish I could reach back to my 16-year-old self and give myself a big hug and say life is going to get better, but I can't. I can't do that. So all I can do is say to you, life will get better.
Things do get better.
It will get better.
It gets better.
Your life will get better.
It does get better.
Life does get better.
So hang in there. It does get better.
I hope it gets better for all of you.